Hello everyone, my name is Lynden Meadus and I'm a 15-year-old student at Thomas Henney Secondary. I've been taught throughout my life that we need to create positive change throughout our community. We are responsible to give time, if you can spare it, money, if you have it, but to strive to make your community a better place. Making a difference should be a priority and not an afterthought. The Iron Horse Safehouse has been a part of me. I remember when I was 5 years old, my mom dragged me out on opening day to plant the garden. I remember hearing all about the difference the Safehouse was going to make for kids in the surrounding area. What I also remember was hearing stories about my mom at her job working as a youth worker. Before the Safehouse was available for youth, sometimes she'd work till the middle of the night figuring out a safe place for youth to go. It was sad to send kids to Vancouver. Other times, she helped them or never heard from them again and learned they were now living on the streets of Vancouver. These stories never left my mind. When I heard about the Iron Horse Safehouse closing, all those memories came back to me, and I wondered, would we be going back to the same way our community was 10 years before? I decided to find out. I came up with a story posed as a youth with no place to sleep and had just had a fight with my parent. This situation could happen to any kid. Off I went, video camera in hand, and a commitment that I would do whatever it takes and stick to the plan, even if that meant sleeping on the street that night. Even though my mom was watching me, I never had a real situation. It was the most stressful and scary thing I've ever experienced, and I can't imagine the burden of having a real crisis situation just happen to you. In my video and my experience, you can clearly see the failure our community has experienced by not keeping the Safehouse open as an emergency shelter. It did indeed take our service level back where it was 10 years ago. I was the kid being sent off to Vancouver, and the Gregmore youth staff were the ones left wondering, would I be okay, just as this was 10 years ago. In order to demonstrate the real-life impact the closure had, I booked interviews with government at the municipal, federal, and provincial levels, as well as representatives from the Iron Horse Safehouse. I asked them questions and showed them my experience. People did look shocked. I am pleased to announce that the ministry confirmed they will now be providing transport to youth who contact them and service providers who refer these youth. In theory, no youth should have to go through this unsafe path to find a safe house again. That was one positive outcome from my experiment. However, what you may not be aware of is the bed priority given to local youth. It is for that community first. So, for North Vancouver, their youth have first priority for beds. This could mean our Maple Ridge youth could end up homeless, just like the Iron Horse gave first priority to our youth. This should be very concerning and another reason to fight for what we already have here. Although I am happy with some changes, we still do not have a local safe house, and I can tell you firsthand, I would not want to stay one more night in North Vancouver after going through what I went through. Being detached from your community is just another burden our kids will have to face. I predict the loss of our safe house will end up with youth on our streets. All we have done by closing the safe house is increase homelessness and put vulnerable kids at even more risk. I ask you, what is the cost of that? I'm asking each of you to help me. We need to stand up for the youth that cannot stand up for themselves. The city gave a lot to make sure the safe house was in our community 10 years ago. We need to make it a priority to keep it. The need has not diminished, and the Iron Horse Safehouse was always used and often full. Over 1,200 kids were housed there over the 10 years. I hope you do whatever you can and not give up on the youth of this community and tomorrow's leaders. To remember the words that I live by. Give what you can, and what you can is influence your position on this government to make an impact on finding a solution. I'd now like to present a few people with a special token of appreciation. This is a picture I took of downtown, and it represents the hope that we will find a solution. So, first person I'd like to recognize Laura and Barb. Barb could not be here tonight, but Laura, if you could come up and get this. And the second person is Doug Bing and Cheryl Ashley for your support and participation in my video, and for the provincial government still being at the table to find a solution. I'd like to thank Randy Camp for his participation and continued engagement at the table. Most of all, I appreciate the way you treated me like an adult and respect with professionalism. That's my presentation.
That's great. Thank you so much, Lynden. That's really exceptional. We know that you're really committed to this. So just to give you an update, our conversations have not ceased. So Alouette Homestart is working with ministry staff, and we do know that Minister Kudya has a commitment to ensure that there's going to be an interface on the ground, at least in the interim until something is worked out. That's as yet to be seen. So definitely the conversation has not stopped from our end. Does anybody have any questions, comments? Councillor Duncan?
Thank you. I just wanted to say thank you for all of your efforts to keep this issue in the public eye as well, and to get more people involved in continuing to support the Safehouse. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, we're on